Imagine a weapon so cheap it cost just 50 cents, yet it destroyed 135 German tanks and exposed one of the greatest battlefield mistakes of WWII. The arrival of an unlikely threat. June 12, 1944, south of Bayeux, Normandy. A cold mist hangs above the hedgerows as Sergeant William Red Halperin of the U.S. 29th Infantry crouches in a shallow ditch, mud soaking through his uniform. German armor can be heard long before it is seen. Metal clattering, engines grinding, treads crushing branches under the weight of 25 tons of steel. Panzer column, maybe 30 minutes out, a radio man whispers, pressing the headset tighter against his ear. Red doesn't answer. His eyes remain fixed on the small canvas pouch at his side. Inside it lies the weapon that infantrymen joke costs less than a can of beans. A crude little tool made of resin, sand, and hope. A weapon so simple that new recruits laugh when they first see it, until they see what it does. The men around him shift nervously. No one is confident, not when German tanks have been ravaging Allied lines from Caen to Saint-Lô. The panzers are undefeated kings of the hedgerow labyrinth, dark metal beasts that swallow machine gun fire and spit fire back. But today, something is different. Today, someone high up in command believes these tiny, almost ridiculous devices can stop a German armored push. Red feels the vibration before he hears the tank itself. A Panzer IV rolls into view, its turret swinging right, then left, scanning the hedgerows. Machine gun fire barks from somewhere deeper in the line. Mortars echo. The assault has begun. A private swallows hard. "We're supposed to stop that with these?" Red answers without looking away from the tank. "Orders are orders." He signals his squad to crawl forward. Every inch they move is a gamble. One snapped twig, one unlucky glance from a German gunner, and the whole operation is over. But they press on because they've seen what this little handmade weapon can do. And because the brass believes it's the key to countering the biggest blunder the Germans ever made. They reach the base of a hedgerow wall. Red unclips the pouch. Inside, wrapped in plain brown paper, is the 50-cent hero of the battlefield, the hedgehog mine, sometimes nicknamed gummy bombs by soldiers who can't believe something so primitive could work. A tiny shaped charge explosive, barely larger than a fist, molded from powdered metal and resin. Cheap, disposable, deadly. Red whispers, "Remember, stick it, run, and don't look back." The squad nods. A Panther tank now appears behind the Panzer IV. That one is the real killer, a sloped armored apex predator of the German arsenal. Its 75-millimeter gun can slice an American Sherman from over a mile away. And with 80 millimeters of frontal armor, it laughs at most infantry weapons. But these tiny mines don't attack the front. They go for the belly. Red waits for the tank to rumble past, feeling the earth tremble under his boots. When the moment comes, he darts out from the hedgerow, low and fast, like every instructor drilled into him. He slams the sticky mine against the underside track assembly, the resin surface gripping the cold steel instantly. He sprints back into the foliage. "Fire in the hole!" A sharp crack erupts. Nothing dramatic, just a direct, precise punch of energy. The shaped charge, concentrated into a narrow jet, slices upward into the tank's vulnerable lower hull. For a fraction of a second, silence. Then flames burst out from the side vents. The tank lurches. The turret freezes in place. Crew members scramble out, coughing, screaming, diving for cover as ammunition begins to cook off inside. The squad stares. The Panther, Germany's proud predator, has been killed by something that cost less than a soldier's lunch. And this is just the beginning, because Red's squad isn't alone. Across Normandy, thousands of infantrymen have been issued these cheap, brutally efficient anti-tank tools. And as the Germans continue to roll their armor into the hedgerow country without proper infantry screens, they unknowingly march into a nightmare of their own making. A nightmare built from resin, metal dust, and 50 cents of Allied ingenuity. But how did such a simple, almost laughable weapon come to exist? Why did German tanks fall victim to it again and again? And how did a device cheaper than a chocolate bar become responsible for the destruction of 135 German tanks? A catastrophic loss the Wehrmacht never fully recovered from. Red reloads, grabbing another mine. More tanks are coming. The Germans still believe their armor is untouchable. They're about to learn otherwise. The exploited weakness. The ground shakes again. This time harder, heavier. Another engine growls through the morning fog, deeper and more confident than the others. Red recognizes the sound instantly. A Tiger wing. 30 tons was intimidating. 45 was terrifying. But 54 tons of German engineering was something else entirely. The Tiger creeps into view between two shattered oak trees, its 88mm gun jutting forward like a spear searching for a target. Its armor glistens with dew. Its crew, veterans of Kursk and Kharkov, believe themselves invincible. Many of them have faced Soviet anti-tank rifles, British Piats, and American bazookas, and survived all of them. But they have not yet met the 50-cent nightmare hidden beneath Normandy's hedgerows. "Positions!" Red hisses, motioning his squad deeper into cover. Private Kemp, the youngest of the group, clutches two sticky mines to his chest. His hands tremble. "Sarge, it's a Tiger. These things can't kill a Tiger." Red doesn't take his eyes off the tank. Everything dies, even Tigers. Still, he knows Kemp isn't wrong. A head-on shot from a bazooka barely dents a Tiger's hide. The beast can shrug off nearly anything, from the front. But as commanders across Normandy learned in the most brutal way possible, the Tiger suffers from a crippling flaw. Its underbelly is as thin as a soda can, and German doctrine insists on using these tanks aggressively, pushing them into terrain they were never designed for. The Tiger rolls forward, turret scanning. Inside, its commander, Lieutenant Karl-Heinz Bremer, wipes condensation from the periscope. He's tense. Every tank commander in Normandy is tense. The hedgerows are death traps, tight angles, no visibility, and American infantry lurking in every shadow. But Bremer still believes in his armor. He has no idea that a handheld mine, costing less than a loaf of bread, can carve through the Tiger's guts like butter. Red nudges Kemp. "Now!" Kemp darts out. 1 second. 2 seconds. He slams the first mine to the Tiger's rear track idler. Resin grabs metal. He drops the second mine beneath the hull plate. He runs. The Tiger's turret snaps toward the sound, too late. 2 explosions punch upward. Focused, precise, violent. Not cinematic fireballs, but razor-thin jets of molten copper tearing straight through the lower armor. Sparks spray out. The engine whines, choking. The Tiger's massive frame shudders, then groans like a wounded animal. Inside the tank, chaos erupts. Bremer is thrown sideways as fire bursts around the engine block. His driver screams, an awful, high-pitched sound. Fuel ignites. Smoke pours through the cabin. Red shouts, "Back! Back! She's cooking off!" The Tiger bursts into flame, ammunition popping like firecrackers. A moment later, a hatch flies open, and 2 crew members scramble out, clothes burning. Others are not so lucky. Kemp collapses beside Red, panting. "We killed a Tiger." Red squeezes his shoulder. "And we'll kill everyone they send." Germany's fatal miscalculation. By midday, reports flood across Allied radios. Panzer IV destroyed, 2 Panthers disabled, a Tiger burning in a hedgerow ditch, and all of them taken out not by artillery, not by airstrikes, not by heavy guns, but by the same disposable, dirt-cheap, fist-sized shape charge that cost 50 cents to manufacture. Commanders quickly realized the truth. German tanks are superb, but German tactics are broken. For months, German high command insisted that armor be used aggressively, crashing through hedgerow country without adequate infantry support. Tanks moved ahead alone, blind, deaf, vulnerable from below. The terrain neutralized their strengths and exposed their greatest weakness: thin, poorly protected undercarriages. American engineers saw this flaw, and they designed a weapon specifically to exploit it. The Hedgehog mine was simple enough to be mass-produced by the tens of thousands. Infantrymen could carry a dozen at a time. They required almost no training. Stick, run, detonate. German armor never stood a chance. A nightmare. Across Normandy. By June 20th, after repeated ambushes, the tally is stunning. One Panther battalion reports losing a third of its tanks in a single day. A Tiger company is reduced from 9 operational tanks to just 2. Panzer IVs, once the backbone of German armor, are now the easiest kills. The cost per destroyed tank? Half a dollar. One U.S. colonel mutters during a field briefing, "They spent millions building them. We spent pocket change destroying them." Across the front, German commanders argue, blame, plead for infantry support, but it is too late. The Allies have discovered the perfect countermeasure, and the German belief in armored invincibility collapses one explosion at a time. The turning point. Late in the evening, Red sits against the hedgerow wall, cleaning dirt from beneath his nails. Kemp rests beside him, staring at the sky. "How many today?" Kemp asks quietly. Red doesn't answer right away. Smoke still trails from the Tiger's wreckage in the nearby field. "Doesn't matter," Red finally says, "as long as they keep coming." But the truth is staggering. By the end of the Normandy hedgerow campaign, the humble 50-cent mine, dismissed at first as a gimmick, will have played a role in the destruction of 135 German tanks. Not because it was powerful, not because it was advanced, but because it punished arrogance. The arrogance of believing that steel makes you invincible. The arrogance of driving tanks into terrain that eats tanks alive. The arrogance of ignoring infantry support doctrines that every veteran commander knew by heart. It was, in every sense, Germany's biggest battlefield blunder, and it cost them dearly,